Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in for this video. In today's class, I'm going to show you how to create the patterned cuff that is part of our winter renewal collection. This was the box for January that I did with beadshop.com. They have mixes still available as of today when I'm recording on their website. So if you're looking for any of the Delica mixes, these are size 10 Delica mixes that I used in the patterns. You can find them from beadshop.com, and I have linked in the description links to shopping as well as a downloadable PDF pattern. So there is a pattern for today's class, and it shows all of the steps that I'm going to teach you here today. So you don't have to memorize anything or write it down. We do have other classes available as well that we are in the process of creating or have already recorded and created. So you can find them all at the link that's in the description, along with places to find any bead extras that we might have available. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to my mat and show you the materials. So here is everything that I'm going to use today. I wanted to share a couple of tips in the pattern PDF. I provide actually 3 different ways that you can arrange the colors. So the first thing that I have you do in the instructions is lay out the beads in order of edge color to center color. And so I didn't letter them for simplicity. I thought it was easier just, unlettered. But there is an instruction set here that shows you different edge patterns. So here's the one with the white as the edging. Here's one that I didn't make yet that has blue. And then, of course, the original had the brown as our edge color, and then it transitions into the center for a beautiful snow color. So each of these has something special about it that I feel it evokes. Like, for example, this one with the snow on the edge has the brown color of bark running through the center like a branch, with the witch hazel color is like the floral around it. The branches kind of jump out in places. The pattern is very simple, but the layering of it kind of has like a very intricate look when it's done. So what I want to say about thread though is if you're going to do this as your edge color, maybe do white thread. If you're going to do the brown as your edge color, brown thread. And then of course you could do the blue version and maybe bring in some blue thread for that. And that one, of course, I have not made yet, but all of the instructions are the same regardless of which order you want to arrange your colors. So you see here, this one is just the same as what we're doing for the other 2. It's just that the colors on the edge are going to be a little different. So we're going to start here at step 1. This is a multi-drop peyote, but it's really just 2-drop throughout except for one little spot. I did this to keep it even count, but still have the center point. So you have the little switch to one drop here at the end of the rows, and it's really easy. And once you get going, you don't even see it. It just kind of disappears, and it saves you having to do odd count turns. So it's super, super worth it. But you can see if you look closely, the edges that you've got a 2-drop, and then you've got a 1-drop just at that last little column there. So I'm thinking for today, for visual simplicity, it might make sense for me to go ahead and just rework this colorway for you to see it. But it's definitely very easy regardless of which way you want to arrange your palette. And then I have this one ready to show you putting on the clasp finally at the end. So the only thing I haven't shown you yet, I haven't explained the beads. These are size 10 Delicas. These are the mixes that were in Winter Renewal, and they are available from beadshop.com. This is a size 15 mix. This one is used in one tiny place, only at the end. It's used in attaching the clasp. And speaking of clasps, this is the Smooth Halves clasp, and it's available in a bunch of different colors from Bead Shop. They have it in the antique brass that I've used here. Also available in a copper, a gold, and a hematite. I think all of these would be beautiful with this colorway. The cool thing about this colorway is it kind of goes with all metals, I feel like. So I'm going to jump in and thread a needle with about a wingspan of thread. This design starts with a 15-inch tail that'll be used to attach the clasp. And I recommend going with as much as you can wield. You will be adding thread at least a couple times, but it's not too difficult. And if you want to do like a wingspan first and then an additional 15 inches for that tail, that's kind of usually what I do, because it's the most I can get before knotting starts to happen. It's basically how far can I pull thread before I'm having to do multiple trips to pull it through. So I would usually go with, say, 60 to 65 inches and then add a 15-inch tail to that number. That's what I'm going to do here. And so again, I am working with the KO thread in brown because I'm going to make the bark color my edge color. So let's lay that color out first, since it's going to be our edge color. And in all of these cases, we're working with these mixes randomly. We're not trying to select certain colors. It's just so much easier just to go random. And it also adds to the intricacy of the appearance when it's stitched up. My next color in from the edge is my yellow. And that's the witch hazel flower. Then it goes to blue, which is our frost light sky delica mix. And it kind of looks like that gray winter sky that you see in January. And last but not least is Snowbank, which is a mix of beautiful whites, pearl, and limestone. So to get started, I'm going to show you the pattern illustration really quick, just for visual. And let's take a look at, I did visualize it twice for you, once with the white edge. I think these are going to be the most popular, and once with the brown edge. So what you're going to start by doing is you want to string the first 14 beads that essentially become rows 1 and 2 in peyote. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, right? So it's all these edge ones. It'll be 2 brown, 2 yellow, 2 blue, 2 white, 2 blue, 2 yellow, and 2 brown. So let's string that total of 14 beads. So there's our total of 14 beads. I'll bring that down here. And again, you want to leave a 15-inch tail. So what we're going to do next, I'm going to bring the picture back over really quick. We strung that. So now we're up here exiting out of these 2. We're going to pick up 2 more. We're going to match the color we're going to be working next to. So in this case, it's our bark color. And we're going to go back through the 2 yellow beads. And then I'll bring this back over to show you the next step. So here's our 2 color beads in bark. We're going to skip these top 2. And then we're going to work through, bring our needle through the next 2, which are the yellow beads. Bring it a little closer for you. And what I usually do is just kind of pinch everything and pull this through. And then I'll grab the tail thread here, working side thread. And if you pull those apart, it will help you create the first start of that 2-drop peyote. Should look like that for you. So now we're going to be picking up 2, skipping 2, and going through 2. So I'm going to pick up the next 2. And the reason I know to pick up a blue set is because I'm going to be skipping the blue set, and we're always matching the color we're going next to. So I'm going to skip the 2 blue color, and then I'm going to go through the 2 white color in the center, which are these 2 right here. Bring that through. And again, pull working and tail thread apart if you would like to tighten that up. And so again, we're going to be skipping blue. So let's pick up 2 blue, skip the next 2 blue, and go through the 2 yellow. Pull working and tail apart. So there you go, 2-drop peyote. So far, so good. But now you see we've only got these 2 left, and we're in an odd count situation. To get around that, what I did is I just picked up 1 of my edge color bead, which for me is the bark color. And so I'm going to skip 1 and go through the last one. So it's basically a 2-2-1 drop. And if you wanted to label it something, it's a combination of 2-drop and 1-drop peyote to give you a really easy way to work it without having to do odd count turns and still getting the look that I was trying to achieve. So let's work the next rows together. Keep your tail tight. You only have to do that for a few more minutes. Usually what I do is I just kind of wrap it around my hand and then pinch my starting work here. We're going to need to work the next row by picking up 1 bark bead, and that's because we're going to be skipping the down bead, which is a bark bead. Bark, or you can call it brown or topaz, or I think that's what we named the mix. And that completes the start. One bead, skip the down bead and go through the one up bead. And now we're going to go back to 2 drop, pick up 2 yellow, because keep in mind we're skipping the 2 yellow and we're going through the 2 blue beads. There we go. And so you have that. Now let's pick up 2 white, skip the 2 white, go through 2 blue. There we go. Last but not least, we're going to pick up 2 yellow, skip the 2 yellow, and then go through the 2 brown beads here at the bottom. And so on. So it's just like this. I'm going to do another row together with you. Let's pick up 2. Okay. Go through 2. Pick up 2 blue. And go through 2. And then again, we're skipping blue, so we pick up 2 blue. Go through the next 2. And that brings us here, where you see we're down to 1 drop. So we'll pick up 1 from the bark mix and we will go through the last bead here. That is all there is to it. And there's one little special part of the pattern that I'm going to show you. We have, see how we've done 3 blue and 3 blue, and let me bring the finished pieces over and show you a little closer view. So you see how we've got 3 blue, 3 blue, here's yellow in its place on this version. Every 3, I bring the center color out. Here's what it looks like in the illustration. Currently, we're working this one. We've done 3 blue, see, 3 blue. For the row that I do next is going to be a row where we're adding yellow, but the row after that, I'm going to put white in place of blue. And on this version, that's the brown. So this ends up looking like branches. And this ends up looking like just the snow changing direction. And so both of them have that same feeling. They're really pretty. And if you wanted to skip that part of the pattern, you can, but you see it kind of does add something. It adds a little bit of intricacy and depth to it. So I just liked it. I thought it was cool. And that's how that was done. So how that would look on this one is just really quickly, I'll throw on the next row, which is a regular row where we're adding some yellow, starting with the 1. Here's the yellow through the blue, white for the center. Okay. And 2 yellow beads through the 2 bark color mixed beads. And now let's start the next row. 2 of the bark color beads. And now here you see where we would normally add blue. Go ahead and add white here. Just for every 3rd set of blue, you want to replace it with, if they're doing this colorway, white. If you're doing one of the other colorways, whatever color is your center, that's the one you want to bring out every 3 repeats of that. And now I'll go back to blue when I get to the next ones. And so you carry on like that and you get this. So that in a nutshell is how to do that. I'm going to clear my mat and I'm going to show you finishing a finished one. So once you reach this part of your design, test your length. You can either use a design board or a bar, but make sure it's a length that you like. The best way to kind of measure that is just to see if it can meet around your wrist, almost. In the clasp, it depends on how tightly you'd like to wear it. The clasp is not going to add a lot of length. So I would bring it to where it's almost touching around your wrist. That way it won't be so tight that it's leaving like a little imprint. Just make it so that it fits you comfortably so that you can just snap it really easily and have it fit really nicely. And so go for whatever you like as far as like how tight you like to wear your bracelets. If you're making it for somebody else, just make it 7 inches if you don't know their measure. That's usually a really good one because it fits most people. Or you can go for like 7.5. And just to show you really quick what I've used typically is I will grab one of these little craft store boards, and then I will take my finished piece and I'll put it around on one of the boards. And I'm actually going for 6.5 for the one I'm making. So I make it to where it's almost touching, see? And then I'll go ahead and put on the clasp. So for this one, I need these size 15 seed beads. And the steps are the same for both the tail side and the finishing side. When you're working on your piece, you want to end with the center 2 up beads. So your starting will already look like that. This is my starting side on this one, and it'll have the 2 center, basically the 2 that are around the very center are going to be your up beads because we're going to be putting the clasp right in there. So make sure when you end your rows that you end your rows with 2 up like that. And then for when I show you weaving in, that's how you add thread as well. So if as you were working this, you're wondering, hang on, how do I add thread? The way I usually do it is I leave my old thread in place. I just leave it where it got short. And then I weave in a new strand using the method I'm going to show you for weaving in after we attach our clasp. And then I create new rows. And after I've created maybe 10 new rows, I'll take the old strand and just weave it around up into the new rows. So that's how I usually do that. Let me grab a clasp really quick. And I'm thinking for this one, I feel like I want to use the gold. So just trying something different. This colorway is so pretty, no matter what color you use. I think antique brass was the one we really thought was the perfect match, but I think gold is also going to be super pretty. What do you think? I think they're all going to be great. And here's the illustration. Sometimes helps to see that first. And it's illustrated here on the color that I'm demoing with in both the tail position and the last. If you've added, for example, a row where your last beads were up beads with the center, right? Center 2. In this case, that's my yellow. You're going to end up with your thread exiting in the same places. It's going to be from that bead at the bottom here. So here's my tail side. See, it's exiting from the bottom there. And then here on my finishing side, I'm in the same spot. Got it right here from the bottom. That'll naturally happen when you've done the completion of one of these rows. So what you do is bring your needle back through the bead that's one behind that. Okay. And then we're just going to travel upwards through the next bead and then go through the 2 down beads here on the edge. And that'll bring you to the 2 yellow up beads. And in my case, they are actually one of the third ones. This color is actually the bark color, because see how I'm bringing bark out every 3? That just happened to be where my rows felt comfortable as ending them there. All right, and so I'm going to go ahead and pick up 2 of the size 15 seed beads. Now these size 15s are small enough to fit inside of the ring on these clasps. So it's probably going to sink in on you, which is fine. Pick up 2 more. So you'll have the 2 and 2. Let me focus that for you, sorry. And then what will probably happen is the center 2 are just going to sink inside that ring. And that's great. Now bring your thread through the next 2 up beads. Tighten everything up. And this will likely move around on, it becomes basically a bar of 15-0, and it moves around on it freely. That should look about like that for you. And then we're going to need to reinforce that several times. So make a turn through the last 2. And from here, just weave through and bring yourself through so you can turn by going through these 2 back from the edge here, keeping that thread above the clasp so it doesn't loop around it. And we'll turn and head through these 2. Okay, and then reinforce this row of 15s. Should be able to get through maybe even all 4 at once like that. And then just repeat that again to reinforce it. You can either repeat the thread path that's illustrated here, which is the one I just showed you, which is after coming through here, you make that turn and just keep going. You can do that again. If you want to also, you can go up here, make some turns, and that can serve the purpose of tightening the entire edge of the piece. So if you wanted to say like head up this way, right? Head through maybe these, down through these two, and then this brings you right back here. And again, getting through the 15s from whichever side feels like it's easiest to kind of stitch through. And it looks like I got through all but the last one. I'm going to go with that. And then just make sure I don't miss that last 15 there. And then through the two up beads in the center there. And now I'm going to go ahead and make a turn. So you can do that one more time if you'd like. Getting through the 15s can be a little tricky, but it is doable. I'll go down through here. Through these. And I'm going to see if I can maybe get through it in one swoop. They're pretty close, almost through all three. And there we go. So that's 4 passes total, which includes the original pass when we strung it. And I feel like that's pretty good. So to make this center even stronger, let me make sure I just didn't have a little error there. I might have. Oh, I did. Sorry, guys. I'm going to watch those loops, make sure you don't, it tries to hug the edge. So double check that I got that pretty on both sides. Always take an extra look at it. And then this is what weaving in looks like. And this is how you add thread. So just start doing some turns. And I'm going to get myself back about 3 or so rows. And then I'm going to make some loops here in the center. What I'm doing is I'm strengthening this part of the design. Because as you use these magnetic clasps, you're going to be putting a little bit of pull on these edges. So what I'm doing is looping to connect, especially concentrating on these gorgeous center beads. And there we go. If any of them are getting tight, you can just go through some different ones. Maybe I'll go through here. And that's really all there is to it. So that is how you secure new thread. It's just making turns. Just start bringing it through a bunch of beads. And eventually, when you feel good about it, you can trim. Feel free to trim with some flush cutters, or you can burn the ends. Sometimes I'll get it to where it looks just like that. And then just be careful of your other strands. You don't want to ever touch it to the work. Just touch this thread, and the thread will kind of singe up on its own. You don't want to burn any of the threads that are on the side. There it is. That's how you attach the clasp. So let me just off camera really quick finish this side, and I'll show you the finished bracelets side by side again. And here they both are. So they look really gorgeous. No matter what way you do your color structures, they're going to look great. And then I wanted to share also that if you want to make this as just a solid rose, that's also really pretty too. So there's so many possibilities, and just the way that it is formed with the almost solid 2 drop, but then the little 1 drop at the end, that little trick works for so many patterns. So give it a go for different ideas that you may have. And there they are. I hope you loved it. And I will be releasing another pattern actually tomorrow. So you're probably, if you're watching this on Friday, I believe the 17th of January, my next tutorial comes out the very next day. It's going to be pre-recorded as well, because Saturday, forgive me if I'm getting dates wrong. Today is probably the 16th when you're watching this, Friday the 16th, because today for me is the the 15th I'm recording this. So yeah, you're going to be watching this on Friday the 16th. The next day after that is Saturday the 17th of January. Forgive me. Anyway, long story short, reason for that being important is that's also the day that Bead Shop and Silver Silk and More and a bunch of other great shops do their TGBE day. So I'm going to be still going live on my channel for just a regular live that I'm going to be featuring another design. But for this one, since I know this one was one that everyone wanted to be able to get quickly, because I have heard that people are waiting to make this one to see the instructions. So instructions are already available for this one on the website. And I did put the link in the description for it. And then tomorrow at 11 or sooner, I'll have that video just posted. So you can be free to attend all those TGBE classes and not worry about hitting my live too. So anyway, long story short, this one is also coming up. And actually, as you're watching this, it's already probably there. So you can go and check that out. I'm trying to get that all wrapped up like right now. And then we'll have one more to go. So that next one is going to be for sure live. And it is going to be on the 24th, which is Saturday, January 24th. Let me show it to you real quick. I have in-process samples here waiting for the demo. I'm going to be teaching you all about making button loops in herringbone. And I'm going to show you different configurations. It's going to have even counts, odd counts, some asymmetry possibilities. I really just want to give you the skill set and then the pattern, which is another ombre, nod to the ombre here too. So they really go together. I'm going to just make that a really kind of, I'm tempted to call it a workshop, to be honest, because it's more than just a tutorial for one design. It's going to be something you can use in other designs too. So join me for that. Everything you see here is available from beadshop.com, buttons, thread. I did use Fireline in this one. It's a 6-pound Fireline. I used crystal. It's 8 seed beads with the 15s for the edging. So join me for that on the 24th. And then I will start doing bonus patterns. Also, we're doing an unwrapping, not an unwrapping, but what we call it? Oh, we're calling it a wrap up. So on Friday, the 23rd on beadshop.com's YouTube channel, Free Tip Friday is usually the show, and it's at 10:30 Pacific. We're going to be on there, myself, Neela, and Kate, doing a wrap up for Winter Renewal, showing you everything we've made. And I'm going to have 2 surprises for that one. And I'll give you a hint. One is the owl that I talked about in a couple of lives ago. So look forward to that, and I will see you soon.